Okay, we're going to kick off now, guys. We are officially live. So this is the 655th Ovale. And I was thinking about that. We're really coming up to that 666 number. So we're going to have to organize a really gothic kind of scary one or something. So coming up to that. But 655th Ovale. I'll be your MC tonight. My name's Jim, and I'm just going to go through like the structure of the evening first. So first of all, we're going to have the 5-word challenge, which I'll explain in a moment. Secondly, we will then have our featured guest poets from UCC's MA in Creative Writing program. And then the third part of the evening and the final part is the open mic. So back to the 5-word challenge, how that runs. Essentially, I'm going to ask for 5 words from you, the audience, 1 per person. And we're then going to give 15 minutes to pull together a poem or, maybe flash fiction or some confessional essay, whatever you want to make, just with those 5 words inbuilt into it. And the audience will be the audience will then kind of vote on who the other guests here in this Zoom chat room will vote who is the winner, which will be counted up by Paul, and the winner will get 2 poetry books, one of which is the latest Ovale anthology. And the other book that they would win is by John W. Sexton. I had that open a moment ago, the title of it. Sorry about that. Paul, do you have the title of that book? I just can't see it in the email right now. Oh yeah, it's just behind Paul there. So yeah, they will win those 2 books. They'll be sent out to you. And you'll also get a drink of your choice from your own fridge. So, okay, can we have 5 words, please? Okay, we've got witness, weeds, which is a little kind of backstage topic. Circle, we've got circle, and we've got purple. Okay, that rhymes. That sounds good. Circle and purple. And we've got ground. So that's 5 words we've got there. Witness, weeds, circle, purple, and ground. So we've got 15 minutes to pull together a masterpiece, and look forward to hearing them. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, we're after coming to the 15-minute mark. So if anyone has got a poem and they're ready to go, just unmute yourself and have at it. Yeah.
Right. Shall I kick off? Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. As I said at the beginning, I've come back to Ireland after 23 years and I've been stuck in a village for the past year. So I guess that's where this poem came from. Snow falls in backyards, in a garden grown witness to too many of my footprints. I even sleep in circles now. Snow falls in backyards, where the weeds are even restless, where they yell at me to break down, break out. There are blotches in this garden, in this ground, where the grass has gone, now grown over with purple bruises shared by both feet and field. Cheers.
Thanks very much, Damien. I'm sorry, guys, I was a little rusty there. There's a little system actually, and a few people have just reminded me of that. So if you're ready to go, can you just put 5 words followed by your name into the chat, and we'll work through our list and we'll come to you, rather than just have at it approach. I kind of said at the start there. So next, can we have Ada Miles, please?
Thanks, Jim. This one is about, I don't know, people. It's called Hell's Neighborhood. There are no Jehovah's Witnesses. They bring to their circle with faces near purple many differently styled fitnesses. You can hear bass hums from the ground floor. Let the sound mind sound body sect. That bloke with purple hair is no sectant and nobody's witness. Chill, he's just doing fitness with an almost holy air. He's not on the weeds, not even that. Sometimes he circles the ground on that contrivance called bicycle house ahead. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ada. Next, can we have Massimo, please?
Hey, always good to be here. I thought the word was fitness too, because I read it, so that's how I used it. I once heard someone say that the path is less like a tightrope in the air and more like a circle on the ground that one tries not to step over too often. I was talking with a friend last night who said that pretending there are no weeds does not do justice to a garden. Just like pretending there is no room for improvement does not do justice to a work of art or a friend. In my life right now, the area where I could use the most improvement in is fitness. I am young and healthy enough to act carelessly, but too old to pretend that my body is immortal. While I enjoy the freedom of being my own being, I also recognize that the power I think is mine really comes from whatever life force keeps the waters cool and makes my body warm, keeps the skies blue and makes the violets purple. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Massimo. Next, can we please have Roshin?
It's a little bit shorter than the other ones. I navigate nature in siphoned circles. Deep within this sea of me, unearthed weeds witness my netherness. No ground could anchor this ship's passing. In purple velvet, the sail flays open to reveal the colors of you.
Thank you, Roshin. Next, can we please have Cornelia Malak?
Hey, I think this one is about homelessness. I was on the ground when they found me. Green weeds stemmed from yellow and orange like a flame. If I chose to look at it this way, their leaves had holes in them, small circles, a neat bite of a snail, a punch hole pattern for my grave's decoration. My freezing was not witnessed. They found me dead, a seated ice sculpture, pinned to the brick wall. They surrounded me and grew around me. They extended purple bells at their tips and ring them each night to show everyone that they remember.
Thank you, Cornelia. Next, can we please have Jackie?
Hi. I don't know what this is about. It just came, so. The weeds rise up from the ground, swaying softly as they touch the purple sky. Witness to the setting sun with its circle of light nearly gone. They whisper, don't they? Swaying bold and brazen as you please. Taking over half the flowers that should be there. But I'm not so sure that weeds should ever die or disappear. After all, they hold the ground together, and that's more than flowers do. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Next, can we please have Lauren O'Donovan?
Sure, thank you. I can barely read my own handwriting, but hopefully I'll get this out. From the frozen ground comes a weed, a name that misleads, because a weed is not a weed until someone bears witness, decides indeed this is a weed. This weed is virtueless, valueless, creating a mess, because it grows in this recess or that circle reserved for overdressed others, like the purple hyacinth or the tresses of a climbing rose. When the truth is, everyone knows, the only difference between a weed and a rose is the place that it grows. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lauren. That was great. Next, can we have Maura Stevens?
There we go. Okay. Wearing widow's weeds, she laid him in the ground. Wearing widow's weeds, walked slowly back to town, from dust to dust, full circle. Wearing widow's weeds, she nodded and acknowledged the condolences offered, the platitudes proffered, from dust to dust, full circle. Wearing widow's weeds, returned to her home, wearing widow's weeds, now at last alone. No one there to witness her bruises turned to purple. No one there to witness her tearing widow's weeds. No one there to witness the smile upon her face.
Thank you, Maura. Next, can we please have Brendan Mulcahy? You're still on mute there, Brendan.
All right.
Okay.
A little poem inviting sympathy for the Welsh, which, considering what they did to us on Sunday, perhaps I'm asking too much. But there's probably more important things than the Six Nations. After the coal went, the valleys died. Convolvulus circled the slag heaps. Purple bindweed strangled the camouflage saplings. The weeds had won. Fast forward and witness Rhondda take another hit. Inequality reaps highest COVID toll in South Wales, The Guardian reads. When you're down on the ground, you're best placed for another kicking.
Thanks, Brendan. Can we next have Sue Blue? Just got to unmute you there.
Yeah. Oops. Okay. Can't even see myself right now. Anyway, okay, that's grand. No title yet. Our bare feet have walked a warm circle on the cold tiles of the kitchen ground. Like the panther in the cage, we pace, treading towards a future stagnant in the now. With cat's eyes, we blink as we witness the weeds grow, slow as rising swirls of purple smoke. If we could, as we would, we'd take our bare souls and tread a circle in the meadows, where we would light our fire and let the purple haze rise beyond the pupils of our eyes, beyond the field of vision. And we'd bust that cage 2 by 2 and break out from the stagnant now, break the circle, and wake the panther's will from its benumbing silence, slip through its pupil's veil and conquer the world again.
Thank you, Sue.
Very much.
Next, can we have Cedric Beacons?
Right, so this one is titled Pigeons. I don't like pigeons. The uncooperative aviary resident circle above the square like every evening. Uncooperative observers watching the matters of the day resolved. They are waiting for the bribe that the baker grants, for their silence about the bread unsold, smuggled out through the back door. When comes the man, they land coding. And down to the ground come their peers. A well-synchronized exchange to cover the crime. A spy you feed is a friend indeed, and the loaf they receive is so much sweeter than the weeds, enough to pass the harsh nights of winter, to make more of life than the animal struggle, to keep the feathers soft, supple, and purple. With the sun setting, they leave for their respective nests. Their bellies full, ready to burn the excess the next morning after a fair night of rest. Fly and again bear witness.
Thank you, Cedric. Next, can we have Michelle DeLay?
Hey everyone. This is called Rehabilitation. Twice you've had to learn to walk. Once on turning 1 and twice this dark year gone. Resting on the rubber circle, crutch pulled to the ground, avoiding the weeds that cling and drag. On your skin are patches of purple. In the playground where we both are shaking, I witness you take your first steps again.
Thanks, Michelle. Next, can we have Pam Campbell?
Okay. Summer 1961, Clinch Mountain, Little Tunnel Inn. Dear Black Bear, I bought this postcard, real photograph, took all my quarter, but you ain't in it. Freed you I did from your cage by side of mountain, purple in twilight's embrace. I your witness at edge of circle, as man rouses you with stick, a show to be had. You stretch tall as me, jaw popping, your fur ripples its rage. You woofed my name, sorrow sent. I cry on ground where weeds virtue lies. I know cages too. Your friend, Pam.
Thank you, Pam. Next, can we have Augustina Adiola?
Thanks. My stomach twirls in circles at the thought of you that walks this ground of mystery. with a purple aura and stubborn hair that sprouts like weeds. Come plant your seeds within me. Touch me from inside with your thickness and let me bear witness to your sweetness.
Great, thank you, Augustina. You've had maybe a little bit of a sound issue, so if you're reading later, you might have to unplug your mic or something. Okay. Next, can we please have Colm Scully?
Hi, thanks. I visited a graveyard the other day, so it's coming from there. I circled the graveyard once, then stopped at my father's stone. A pacifist, he never would have dreamt he'd lie 20 years alongside an army sergeant for company. The surface is uneven still, where we lay his body down, though we turfed it with sods ourselves in an effort to steady the ground. Weeds gather in tiny clumps either side of the marble slab. Purple heathers and buttercups bear witness to the gathering years. In the edgy February chill, the cold stones and gaudy memorials lift my spirits as I circle again, picking out any name that I know, somehow buoyed by the sense of their spirit, their past hopes, the good lives they lived.
Thank you very much, Colm. So I think that Colm is the last person that has put their name in. If there's anyone else who wants to read their 5-word poem,
Go again.
Have we got Mags? Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Okay. I always put it in. People don't usually see my name, so I'll just. This one reminded me of seeing a carving in a cell of a Sacred Heart done by a Polish lieutenant. So, weeded out the witnesses, the purple sunken-eyed, circled them, counted them, fingered the fragile, rounded them up from their hallowed ground, corralled them to cell block 11 for correction, ironed out all remaining resistance, were quietly one carved, a Polish officer carved a face, a burning heart, this Sacred Heart, with his nail and file on an icy wall, rose above and soar beyond, purple of the bruised, crushed velvet of the royal, the colour purple once worth more than gold. Wear these stains with pride, wear and bear your witness for my creed. And now I felt the ridges of your carving tenderly. Braille them in your memory. Okay.
Thank you, Mags. Next, can we just have the initials GB?
Yes, okay. I sort of went with a rhyme, and it's called Find Me. Find me a purple rose, one growing from a hose. Find me a green circle, one engraved on a pickle. Find me a witness ring, one growing from a hose. For the bell I must ring. Find me the broken ground, or I'll come around. Find me the muddled weeds, so I can pat the seeds.
Thank you very much. Next, can we have Cathal Holden, please?
Hey guys, how you doing? I just threw a couple of lines together there. We grow outside the circle, as do weeds. Bear witness, we shall purple the ground of every hill. Thank you. Good steal.
Very good. Thank you, Cathal. Is there anyone else who hasn't put their name in the chat that wants to dive in here? Doesn't look like it, I think. Okay. I think we might be ready to take some votes now. So, okay. So if you want to, I think we're going to go straight into votes now. So if you want to vote for the person that you think deserves to win it, just type in winner and the person's name next to it, please. No problem, Damien.
Like in the pub, we'd be chatting like mad now.
It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
You need to drink. Oops.
Okay, so the tally has come in.
Can I just say there? Sorry, somebody sent their vote. Jackie sent your vote privately to me by mistake, I think. Just to count that in.
Who do they vote for?
Mags.
Okay. Does that make any changes with the winning spot there, Paul? Okay. So it's kind of funny that you came on the mic there, Michelle, because you are the winner of the 5-word challenge. So big boola bus for Michelle, please.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
So we're going to send out 2 books to you, Michelle. The 5-word anthology and John W. Sexton's book. I have it there, the name of it, Futures Pass. So I hope you'll enjoy reading them. And you can get yourself a drink from the fridge if you want.
I have Heineken cooling down in the fridge, so I will treat myself to that. Thanks.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for everyone who participated. Some really good poems. And yeah, I think we're doing really great. That was a great start to the evening. So before we go into the next part, which is our guest poets, there's a few announcements we're going to touch on.
Sorry, Jim. Do you mind if I jump in there?
Of course, yeah.
Any chance we could hear the winning poem?
Oh, sorry. Yes, we need to hear the winning poem again.
Okay, this is the closest a poet will get to an encore, so I'll enjoy that. Thanks again. This is called Rehabilitation. Twice you've had to learn to walk, once on turning 1, and twice this dark year gone. Resting on the rubber circle, crutch pulled to the ground, avoiding the weeds that cling and drag. On your skin are patches of purple. In the playground where we both are shaking, I witness you take your first steps again. Thanks, everyone.
Congratulations again to Michelle. Okay, wonderful. Sorry, I nearly jumped over that part. Of course, that's really important. We need to hear the winning poem again. Okay, so now we can move on to the next part of the evening. Just before that, though, we have a few announcements. So the results of the 8th 5 Words International Poetry Competition will be announced before the end of March and published in Ovale's annual publication, 5 Words Vol. XIV. That's, I don't know, is that 16? No, I'm sorry, I just don't know numericals.
14.
14, okay. Wow, 14. To be launched at our April event. We are now calling for submissions of any 5-word poems written since April 2020 during the online Ovale events, which are to be emailed to submissions@ovale.ie. You can also find previous evenings on the audio archive, which is www.ovale.ie/blog/audio archive. The remainder of the evening will be recorded on that. So if you have any poems that, for whatever reason, you don't want to be recorded, just let us know and we can omit it. Sorry, I'm just going through this. Okay, so we always aim to maintain a safe space for writers and general public attendees. So the private chat mode is available for all participants to use during the event. We ask you to please be respectful when communicating via these channels and to report any online abuse immediately to Ovale, either through the private chat or to info@ovale.ie. The open mic session will be available to revisit as an MP3 podcast and an on video via vimeo.com/Ovale. The reading itself is a once-off.
Oh, sorry, Jim, that last bit, the once-off bit doesn't belong there. My fault. Sorry.
Sorry, I'll cut that out. Forget what I was saying there, guys. Okay. So next week's Ovale, we're going to have the poets Sandra Yenon and Lawrence McKeown, and that will be on the 8th of March. We also wanted to announce that Sean Hewitt will be reading online in UCC Wednesday, the 17th of February. There's a link for that, creativewritingucc.com/www. I'm sure Paul will have that in the chat. And we also lastly want to just remind people that Ovale Ovale greatly appreciates donations that are given, which can be done via PayPal on the website ovale.ie/blog/contact us. You'll find a little part where you can make a donation to Ovale, and they greatly helped to keep it running and get all these great guests and poets and all the technical things that need to be done. So you know where that is. Okay, so we are now ready to get on to the next part of the evening, which is our guest poets. So they are, like each February, Ovale presents poets and short fiction writers engaged in UCC's MA Creative Writing program who read from their new work. And this year's featured writers are Peggy Mccarthy, Lauren O'Donovan, Roshin Leggett, Bowen, Daniel Galvin, and Cornelia Malak. And the event is held in collaboration with the UCC School of English and Digital Humanities. So the poets and fiction writers will all be, introduced one by one. So we're going to start off now with Peggy Mccarthy. So to give you Peggy's bio, she is completing the MA in Creative Writing in UCC this year. Born near Skibbereen in West Cork, she's lived most of her life in Waterford City. She has worked as a primary teacher for many years and enjoys the great outdoors. She's had poems published in the Fish Anthology 2020 and hold open the door. So can we have a big warm welcome to Peggy, please?
Hello, everybody. My first poem is called Unlearning. During thick, sticky days, we trapped bumblebees in jam jars, crammed with flower heads and leaves. Scented tangles of rose, honeysuckle, and woodbine that dusted our fingers and powdered our nose. We held globes of summer in our hands. We stalked the dense hedge foraging, our hands and eyes sharp as scorpion pincers, primed and ready to nip. The thrill was the capture of a fat, furry one, its body a ball of buzzing wing beats in our grasp. We scrambled to oogle and own the humming heart of summer. And I'm startled now to know how I've unlearned what I then knew about the ease of letting go. This next poem is called Father. Coming in, I often pass you in the hallway in sepia. Your wedding day, June 1955. You couldn't believe your luck. And sometimes I stop to catch a trace of something I missed. Maybe it's the way the light catches the glass. I think I almost see you clearly. But mostly, you give nothing away. Clear-eyed, upright photo stance, a peep of handkerchief in your breast pocket, your first and last trip to the photographer's studio. Right hand put away behind your back, your left, fingers folded in a fist, elbow tentatively crooked for your new bride. Going out, I sometimes glance at you again. This time it's the other photo, a dozen years after the first. Your farmer's grind cast briefly aside, your brow furrowed, your slack half smile. And what do I really know? You were not for turning from buckets and wells to pipes and plumbing, from bicycle clips and tilly lamps to motor cars and electricity. You knew land and fields and the cuckoo's call. You said the best part of the potato lies under the skin. These things hold steady when I pass through, angling to catch a glimpse of something new in the fading greys and blurry edges of an overcast summer. This next one was written after seeing the one-woman play called Gone Full Havisham. Staged. There she was on stage as we walked in, smeared black backwards across the big pink bed in her grimy wedding gown, her powder-smudged face a blink away from stillness. And when the lights dimmed, she flared for a full hour, alone, one tough little nut, releasing herself into every breath, cracking open every miry pore. I thrilled at the thought of sliding off script, out of the dark into that bright, hot space, to be myself entirely in all that light, the sound of my voice carrying through my body, until finally I could exit stage left and fizzle out the side door, abandoning everyone to jilted silence as the dust begins to settle. This next one is called Impulse. I watch him on the sunlit lawn, splayed low along summer grass, grappling between outstretched paws, a ravaged bone in his eager jaws, incisors clacking against hollowed shell, and the memory of marrow fresh on his tongue. On a shaded path by the flower bed, through the spill of gravel and clay, a jaunty sparrow pecks her way, lifting and landing in tiny bursts, her dark eyes scouting berry and seed, draining the pith from every husk. An evening sun burns down the sky, narrowing lines of slanted light. I shift to hold her shrinking glow, to catch the tapering ends of day. Hanging on though the fire has passed, I chase shadows across the grass. This one is called Home to Roost. The pigeons are everywhere. From the kitchen window, I watch their slow strut across roof ridges, their road grey feathers folded, their jerky necks a swivel. Upstairs from the bedroom window, I spot two in the rowan tree on the lawn. Their couplings sealed as they bill and tangle in a shiver of leaves. They mate for life, I'm told. And yesterday, I saw one cracked and broken on the road, his wing clapping done, flashes of white in rainbow grey, one hapless bird pulped by rolling tires. And in these weeks, unseen in the trees, their low, muffled sounds, steady as wing beats, have kept me on course and guided me home. And finally, this last one called Turberry Rights. And just to say, Turberry Rights refers to the right to cut turf on a bog. Turberry Rights. I remember the breeze skimming the frothy heads of tiny bog cotton and the midges nipping our skin, circling pools and places where water stood still. The booted foot on the upright spade, pushing through the top scroll, slicing into matted turf and rich dark seams of ancient earth. The tear of wiry threads from a mesh of fibres buried deep. The severed veins and knotted clots of bush and bramble, stalk and stem. Parcels of black-brown peat lifted to the light, where we footed the slabs in airy stacks, our fingernails caked in crumbling clay. Turning sods on the higher banks, till bone-hard and parched, we carried the creel to settle and wait by a winter grate. That was before the fires burned out, when smouldering fumes infused the air and flames devoured the arid clods. When life lodged in moss and mire under grassy reeds and sedge, and the curlew call rang clear in the wind. That's it.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you so much, Peggy.
Beautiful.
Can we have a huge round of applause, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So on to our next guest. We have Lauren O'Donovan, who is a Cork-born... Oh, am I on mute? Hang on. Okay, I'm not, sorry. Okay, we have Lauren O'Donovan, who is a Cork-born poet, currently completing her creative writing masters in UCC. She was recently featured at the Vale Winter Warmer Festival's New Voices Showcase, and also at the 2020 Bookends Conference Poetry Panel. Lauren is an organizer of Debara's spoken word literary events, where she has also appeared as a guest reader. And Lauren is looking forward to appearing as a guest poet at the Not the Time to Be Silent later in 2021. So can we have a big warm welcome to Lauren O'Donovan, please, who had a fabulous 5-word poem, I might add.
Thank you very much, Jim. I knew sweetening you up at the start would pay off for me. But anyway, what I would like to do is take you on a journey of randomness through the bright and dark places in my mind. So I have 4 poems altogether. The first is picture characters. White girl with a hand up. That could mean hi, but looks like a homicidal teacher's pet emoji. Smug angel, because I'm really a self-righteous dick emoji. Face with 3 floating hearts from when only 1 heart would just break your heart emoji. Screaming face inspired by that painting that was reacting to a scream and not actually screaming emoji. Head exploding because my children painted the cat with Nutella while my husband was busy playing Xbox emoji. Black thumbs up because I'm totally woke and definitely not racist emoji. Aubergine that everyone knows is really a penis emoji, except that one guy who's all like, why does she keep asking for veggie pics? Happy chocolate poo swirl that uncomfortably reminds everyone who was on the net in the 90s of 2 girls, 1 cup emoji. Crazy face that acts as an all-purpose, legally binding general disclaimer emoji. Face with 2 jazz hands lunging in attack that actually means hug emoji. An otter relaxing on its back in a pool because I'm completely fucking adorable emoji. Face with little floating Z's indicating that I'm tired, specifically of you emoji. I can't even begin to guess what this emoji means emoji. Raised hand that looks like a vicious palm strike coming from your face, but apparently means bye emoji. Okay, so that's the end of the first bit of madness, and maybe the most madness that I have in store. Next up, to be a little bit more normal, I have a sestina about the ocean. It's an abridged sestina, and by abridged I mean I cut the envoy because I couldn't get it to work, and I prefer the repetition in just the 6 stanzas. So it's called The Wild Way, or if you just prefer the 6 words, it's ocean shells, sand, sky, soul alive. My cottage can hear the midnight ocean tide, bringing jetsam, seaweed, and shells to submissive miles of fine white sand, bound by water, dune, and sky. Winds blow doubt from my soul. In the emptiness before dawn, I am alive. Ballyhaig is dead, but I am alive to heed wisdom whispered by the ocean. While her whitecap angels strip my soul, then redress with sea foam and oyster shells. Under clouds performing dawn sky, I walk alone on wild west coast and mermaid toenails sparkle in the sand, half buried and dead, but in my hand alive. Tiny nacre caves capture suns from far sky to sink their purple flames in Mother Ocean. But the oyster catcher and shell collector have other plans for lost aquatic souls. In my bag, heavy yesterday with lemon soul, now jingle iridescent petals plucked from sand. The tinkling chimes sing, shed your shell, surrender ego, connect to life. I submit and join the dancing ocean in adagio chassé beneath a bouquet sky. Wet strand reflects the birth of morning, interrupted by another early soul, a local breaking day beside her ocean. She stops me as I bend to pick the sand. I share that I am glad to again feel alive, and on his grave will grow a rose of shells. The lady says it was these selfsame shells Mammy sought beneath a long-set virgin sky. Still young and soft and to the top with life, they foraged baskets full of shellfish souls, ran home barefoot over rocky sand dunes with willow-wrapped gifts from the ocean. Thank you. And next up, we're taking a little trip sideways into the world of mythology with the myth of Persephone. And this one is called Trembling Ghosts. Erebus screams the neon sign through a flood of blue hot flames. Wet shadows form shifting lines to await judgment at the door, where pinned to every left lapel, Cerberus, debossed in gold. She walks among the shadows, heels drumming stiletto beats, in time with the boom boom roaring from forbidden rooms, past the pillared velvet twists, and in the door, staff only. She greets Venus and kisses Juno. Diana's at her mirror. She tells her to move over. Hang up coat, get undressed, powder face, neck and breasts. Has anyone seen my flowers? Hecate hides in feathered faces and gifts elixirs to her sisters. Small white rocks stamped with arrows, gone again in one quick swallow. She click pops a stick of carmine wax to paint her lips with crushed nymphs. Naughty uncles, here she is, your baby niece Persephone, shouts Minos in the microphone. She performs on cue, straddles the stage, bites open overripe plums, juice squirts, dripping her pale flesh. Her jaw is tight and pupils blown. She's dead to what comes next. As told, she picks a front row god and puts a plum between her breasts. She swaps the stage for two bent knees to beg of Pluto, feast on me. And thank you. And on to the final poem now, where I hope to leave you with a much lighter and whimsical note. It's called The Sheep and Dragon. She cooks felled carrots in the washing machine, while a polymer soup simmers on the stove. I shuffle to the door on hard knees and knock. A hollow knock puts stop to serious preparation. The door is opened by a smile immersed in the softest semi-quavers of delight. My prize stands inside on a pile of stitched creatures. Scales of blackened toffee laced with white thread run up the belly and fade into burnt yellow chenille fur. It wears a large cotton candy knitted toque, complete with sequined cat ears and embroidered whiskers. Only tall wings with wire armature declare golden dragon. Astride the drake is a woolly back scruffy from love, gender fluid and finished with fleece handles and zip. Soft hooves darkened from indeterminable dirt. On each, a plaster supporting a cast of cartoon characters. Bright beads stare out of the darling lamb face that with sewn smile rests limp upon the dragon's hat. The shopkeeper negotiates senselessly and says, I cannot have a dragon or a sheep, for they take too much care. Instead, I must prove myself with a swimming dog for 3 coins. Coins she gives to me before I must give back to her. But I am not to worry. The dog comes with an imaginary pool. But now she tires of my haggling and demands television. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Lauren. That was really great.
Well done, Lauren. Fantastic.
Okay, thanks very much. So our next poet is Roshin Leggett Bowen, who is currently studying for her MA in creative writing in UCC. A writer of short stories and poetry, she is moved by the bravery that lies within vulnerability. Her writings have been published by the Amsterdam Quarterly, Islands Press, Cork County Library, and Visual Verse. She received a notable mention in the Curator New Writing Prize for Poetry in 2020. So can we have a big warm welcome for Roshin, please?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here and it's lovely to hear all the poems tonight. I'll start with a piece called The Curator. I will be the curator of what you lost. I will build a fine museum to exhibit your life's work. I will pick up the things that you forgot, ornate them, invite the right crowd, art collector, investor. There, a hair from your head on that brush, encase it, frame it in golden dust. And here, a breath you mislaid, paraded in a glass jewelry box, hand cut for a connoisseur. That blood spot on your handkerchief, siphon it off, hang it as a centerpiece. Your expiration I will flay on piano keys so only your music plays. The punters are free, no dis-ease. Your heart, what of that? Wrap it up in muslin, steady it, cradle it, lull it. Lie it in a rocking chair until it sways still. Your tears I will preserve with the dewdrops of fern fronds. The eyelash that fell when you closed your eyes, I will illuminate with the sun until death is undone. I will be the curator of what you lost. I will build a fine museum to exhibit your life's work. But I will not place the red dot. I will keep the lot. I will be the curator of what I lost. Thank you. The next one I'm going to read is called Memory Loss. I'll be all right, nurse, won't I? Could I stop breathing, nurse? Could I? Lost eyes, meandering reality. Try to remember to breathe. No clarity. What if I forget to breathe, nurse? What if I can't remember, like? What do I do then, nurse? Take her hand, swollen fingers, no longer fit to wear a ring. Do the hands forget too? The recipes, the kneading? I go back to 8 years old in the kitchen, making scones, daddy blustering in, earth overtaking cinnamon. Closing my eyes, allowing my ears to anticipate his hearty salutation. Hello, the house. Pulling off wellies, effort measured in size, one welly falling, no longer weighted. A whisk or kiss planted on my cheek, tickles, giggles, inhaling the outside from his skin, winter sun bounding in, flushing my mother's face, teasing, kneading, leaning into bouncing black curls. He lifts a stray tendril from her neck, whispers, how's my own darling, full of grace. Eyes of almond light reflect his warmth. Laughter lifts the room. Back now to this. No smell of baking here. Cool, clinical, pale. No mother left that remembers being Grace. No mother left that remembers a daughter. A grey curl escapes its hairpin. You're very good to me, nurse. Thanks, nurse. That's all right, ma'am. You'll be all right, ma'am. Thank you. And the next one is a play on a fable. It's called Inish Coo, and it's a sequence poem. Inish Coo, Colleen Og. The story folds that a young girl grows home between sap and falling leaves. Beneath the wood, the sheltered hood of untold tales. The serial sentence, fables maker, how youth has caught a glimpse of nature's beauty within a nymph of muted sibilance. She skips her way, done with chores, but shadows furl in the unsaid curls of her bold and bashful wisp of hair. Farbroita. He is there, the sickened soul, unwanted by his mother. Brutal and slobber, the pounce of patience blackens his plunder. She doesn't know what hits her. A fallen branch, a picture of how she looked in her christening gown, all laced in possibilities. He took her with a rock to the head and left her aside the waterbed where wolves would bend their gently woven heads for inspiration. But the killing of this Colleen Og tore up the ground, their every fold or firm foundation. Mocktira. They blew through their wide-eyed pain, a declaration for all wolves they did proclaim, to gather, rush, gush the water as their cushioned pads fiercely tread to catch the little girl's killer. Botch him up with jaw-edged trigger. He runs, of course, wouldn't you? Everyone knows that to live with the wild, you should stare it down, look it right through, but no, with stumbles and staggers, he scatters his ungainly stance. The crows call coward. Aigna inishku. And who is the prey, and who is the caught? And it goes on till we have fought the demons that lay in our heads, the ones that keep us bereft in soft beds of beastly fable talk. And so his death was not so swift, he was carrion feast with fresh blood mixed. They left him melt into the ground, the trees rejoiced in leaf-lit sound. The pack had thought the girl had perished, but up out of her body an apple tree flourished, and within that tree new buoyant buds fell upon the open earth. And the smell of succulence can be heard for hundreds and hundreds of miles aloud, with heads held high the wolves do howl through brilliant light of windfall, Father Bio on Lanoff Mactira. Thanks everyone, that's it from me.
Thank you so much, Roshin. That was wonderful. Big round of applause again, please, for Roshin. All right, thank you. Okay, our next poet is Daniel Galvin, who is from County Cork. His writing has been published in the Moth, Honest Ulsterman, Acumen, the West Texas Literary Review, Rock and Sling, and Ophi Press Mexico. He came first place in the spoken word platform at Court International Literary Festival 2017, and also won the May 2017 Sunday Slam in Dublin. Daniel was also shortlisted for the Red Lion Poetry Competition in 2018, and he is currently completing an MA in writing at University College Cork. So can we please welcome Daniel Galvin.
Thanks very much, Jim. Nice to be speaking to you today, guys, or tonight. The first poem is called Fireworks. There's a place name in here. Novel, for anyone who doesn't know, is a place in southeast Cork where I used to play hurling when I was younger. Fireworks. A muffled pop. Deep within the fabric of the sky, something has burst against the quiet and the dark. That whistling off of matter must be the blobs of fire fizzling down. Attentive as a finger on a wrist, I step aside on time to see one flower, a beat before my ears pick up the sound. And suddenly I'm on the pitch in Novel, peering past the running track to where he pelts the slitter off the wall. The gloaming yields one pitch black note. Tonight, it rushes back across the years, seeking me out. So I encountered a Kenneth Coke poem recently in which he parodies the famous William Carlos Williams poem, This Is Just to Say. And I said I'd have a crack off it myself. So the original Williams poem goes, it kind of takes the form of a note left on a kitchen table, maybe for a wife or a husband. And it goes, I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me, they were delicious, so sweet and so cold. So I wrote 3 kind of alternative versions of that one. Number 1, this is just to say, I have crucified the man who was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and who you were probably hoping would save himself, and you. Forgive me, for I know not what I do. I went for a science theme on the next one. This is just to say, I have destroyed the deoxyribonucleic acid that was in the borosilicate, flat-bottomed boiling flask, and with which you were probably planning to instigate a polymerase chain reaction. Forgive me, I can't follow any of this. And number 3, this is just to say, I have stolen the jokes that you wrote for the party and intend to tell them before you arrive. Ha, 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 ha. So that's that. The next one is a sonnet. It's called ASOS Ring. So ASOS is this like giant fast fashion company. And if you purchase a ring from ASOS, it's unlikely to be of good quality, which is something I found out the hard way. ASOS Ring. I wore it on my smoking hand for the world to see. The signet was a murky oval, flecked with gold and wisps of grey, a flattened galaxy that hovered by my mouth like a persistent fly each time I took a pull. A lick of soap and water turned the band all coppery and dull. And the nonsense I was spouting to distract you from the greeny tinge around my finger when I tugged it off and placed it by your bedside lamp. Something about Tolkien and a recipe for a pretty decent bar in Brack. Cheers, guys. So 2 more. We're moving to Lisbon for this one. I lived there for about a year. And this, I wrote this kind of towards the end of my time there. So this is called Junction. My ball of falafel is topped with a dollop of hummus, which in turn has been garlanded with a sprig of something green. A bite unlocks the fuming engine heart, pungent with spice, so finely cooked it must have been watched, second by second, bobbing in the oil. The streets at night are swept of stalls that tell the time of year. No chestnut smoke to smear the stations. No June bananas huddled in their boxes by the gate. Dyed bronze, the junction coughs as gentle traffic snakes home past my perch. The drivers' chins changing colour when they yawn. Throats scarfed in the gloom that love is made in. A wedding ring upon a steering wheel. Lights rush down the sleek fish bodies of the cars. Ripples in the chrome, warping the waiter's reflection as he nudges tides of bleach over the sill. Eventually the furniture is taken in around me, and it's time to head back. The orange trees outside the flat drop overripe fruit, and I step between the husks, as earlier you stepped between the worn-out segments drained of juice. In the stairwell, all dark water, where your finger found the little flame that shivers in the light switch, I can still detect the soft rattle of moths that were disturbed. And one last one. So I went to an exhibition of ancient Islamic ceramics there not so long ago, and the labels that attached to the pieces struck me as being almost as beautiful as the pieces themselves. So I kind of wrote them all down and I arranged them into this poem. Thanks for listening, guys. Gulbenkian. Deep plate with central medallion, bowl with flowering prune tree, deep plate with geese, plate with sickle leaves, bowl with garden, pilgrim's flask, deep plate with trefoil motif, deep plate with sickle leaves and deer, jug with 2 geese flying under clouds, deep plate with lotus tree and flowers, jug with 2 fig trees and silver mounts, jug with phoenix flying under clouds, bowl with pomegranates, deep plate with hyacinths, jug with centimani and wavy bands, deep plate with geese flying over river with fish, bowl with fishes, bowl with sun, tile with youth in garden. Thanks a million, guys. Cheers.
Thanks very much, Daniel. That was wonderful. Really great stuff. Okay, and now on to our last but not least poet. Cornelia Malak is a bilingual poet and artist who hopes to explore more languages to develop the depth of their work. They were raised in Poland and moved to Wexford during their childhood. She has completed an undergraduate degree in the study of religions and philosophy at UCC, where she is also currently enrolled in the MA Creative Writing program. Cornelia is interested in the unseen and writes extensively on the themes of search, love, and awareness. Her poetry is predominantly displayed in an abstract and surreal manner. So can we please welcome Cornelia, please?
Thank you for having me. I tried to create a storyline that follows the 5 poems that I will read for you. And the first one is called White-Throated Kingfisher, and it's a sequence poem. White-Throated Kingfisher, blood orange to red, a sunset at its tip, maybe rose petals, but not quite. You could hand me a rose and the color would differ. And what would I do then? Somewhat like goldfish, but darker, deeper, dribbles, a leak of the color of grapefruit. Autumn leaves falling, red ones, all the things that make up a carnelian. Ginger to brown. Caramel truffles by the fireplace, maybe orangutans, but the fur, shorter. Your cinnamon that I used for my ginger molasses cookies, and you ate them all, rightfully. An old wooden fence, creasing and damp, separating the paths of a fox and a cocker spaniel, all the things that make up an aragonite Sputnik. White, polar bear families playing in the snow, maybe the clouds passing by, forming photos. You blew on a wispy dandelion papayi in the garden. I think a dove caught it. Melted white chocolate. One half of a zebra beside an aspen tree trunk. All the things that make up a catch-along. Black. The other half of the zebra. Maybe the silhouette of nature against the setting sun. Your irises in which the starless universe blooms. There are bats who sleep upside down, and crows who remain upright. All the things that make up an obsidian. Blue. The weight of the sky on summer days. Bellflowers, but less violet, more blue. You washed some blueberries in a bowl and said, but the insides are green. How about the surface of the sea then? Or the body of a peacock? The ruffled hair of a jay? All the things that somehow make up an angelite. The next one is called Love Which Flutters Your Eggshell Wings. You handed me butterflies on a silver plate and gazed at me intently. Their wings covered a perfectly fried egg, one that I chose to let fall from its nest, to crash with the concrete. There were still bites of pebbles stuck inside the oil bubbles, but that was all okay. Until you pushed the plate in front of my stomach. I did not want to eat them yet. It was too early. But the fork wound up to be a plane, with you as the micropilot and passengers whose ability to fly you mocked. And as far as I remember, I opened my mouth, and the butterflies entered by themselves. I observed their wings of all colors and sizes. A green-veined white butterfly. Yet when I looked at you then, my eyes clearer or foggier, everything else stopped existing at that moment, and all that held it together was your cute little nose and your eyes, golden dragon eggs which shimmered kindly, not staring at all, and they made me marvel on what they would look like if they did stare deeply. A purple emperor butterfly. I wanted to learn what would catch your eye's attention, just enough to require a lingering look. How you'd express your sadness. I pondered if joy would leave your nose, just like the birds who leave their eggs after human touch. Would your eyelids drop far enough to interrupt your irises, and would you cry? How beautifully would you cry? A peacock butterfly. I melted into the brightness of your sunset smile, and I became lost within, even though you lit an individual street lamp during this raw daylight. Warm crystals were dancing ballet on your cheeks as you gazed at me intently. A tingle in my throat marked a departure, so I coughed, and I coughed. You stared at the egg on my silver plate with your moon-shaped lips and snowflake eyes, and I knew then, yes I knew, that you would try again tomorrow with caterpillars. The next one is a bit shorter and it's called Directions. When the branches will scream, when the leaves will die, when all blue turns not to red or brown but white, when all their hearts will burn in pain, when all their bodies rot away, when you climb down, disrupted sleep, when they will see and dive head deep, when one last flower blooms on earth and you close it, you will find me. The next one is called Your Birth as a Porcelain Music Box Doll. It was raining leaves on this earth, filled with bluebirds, ripples of cloud. There was no more blood escaping, river molding delta along her ties. Color shifted, shaped iris on sclera. She embraced the blue of her fall. The universe shed its stars on you. Now you will dance her truth like a doll. You can be filled with water no more. You will dive and swim and howl, because they swiftly found each other before the grass re-entered the ground. They grew on their own, a bull, but you're really a shark on land. Now all you can do is sit on their box and turn, tear painted below your eye. And I have one last one for you. Odette. Let the ring, pinky fall, neck of a swan, arm to the right, extending fingertips, up and back, twist, snake. Turn wrist, a bell, shift, twirl legs, back to back, rest, we pirouette, circling vulture. Body ascends with a catch, a lift, secure, legs straight, stretch. Waist curls in the air, neck open, tilt back. You're Odette. Slow down motion, water droplets fall, forever. Remain a crescent, hard beating in their frame. Thank you.
And that is our final guest poet. Thank you all so much, guys. You all brought something so different and all equally special and really, really great work tonight. Can we have a big round of applause, everyone, please?
Well done, everybody. All equally brilliant.
Thank you. Okay, so that moves us on to the third and final part of the evening, the open mic. So if you want to go ahead and read, please put can you just put like open mic and then your name in the chat? Okay, we've got some names straight away. So we'll get started on our list. So first on the list, we have got Damien Donnelly, please. Big round of applause, please.
I'll take out my gum. Is it one poem or two, or how does it work?
Oh, 3 minutes per person. So if you can fit 2 in, no problem.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to read a poem from my debut collection, Each the Storms, which was published by the Hedgehog Poetry Press last October. And the poem that I'm going to read, if I can find it, is called Tattered Brown Trousers. Father ate all the flowers in the shadows of the back garden because he couldn't swallow the promise of happiness blooming within the home he couldn't find his root within. Father left all the flowers in the front garden, too proud for others to see him pulling from the soil everything he needed help with, but had not been thought the words for. Father liked to laugh first when others lost, so that no one could hear his own loss tearing at him like weeds, twisting behind the restraints he wore like those inside-out jumpers and tattered brown trousers he thought no one could see through. Father ate all the flowers in the shadows of the back garden and choked on a laugh that no one understood. Thank you very much. And the second poem I'm going to read, if I can get it in, is from actually another collection. It's my Stickleback Collection that came out just last month, also published by the Hedgehog Poetry Press. And it is basically 5 poems based on 5 paintings seen in 5 galleries in 5 different countries with 5 different boys. So it's about color connection. And this painting is based on a Salvador Dali painting, which is Young Woman at the Window. And it's called Dali Distractions. I was in London when we first met. You were on loan and I, something else. You were on a wall, looking out from shadow to sea, seeing cerulean, freshly dressed from a bed that had held you in place, twist of the leg caught between the twitch of decision. There were moments to come in and others that let you leave. Tides learn of the waves' recoil only when it drops its guard upon the shore. You leant on that ledge, window opening in, looking for a ladder to bring you out of that longing. In the distance, across a cold concrete concourse of tourist traversed space, in a time that wasn't mine or yours, you perfected illusions of contentment, slow sway of the hip as if to seduce. I was in London when we first met, and I recognized your distraction. So close to the water that never succumbed to cessation, though you had forgotten how to swim. Funny that. An islander growing for herself a fear of drowning that no one could see on your face, looking out from within the frame that held you once so tightly in its place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Damien. And if you've got links and you want to put your work into the chat, please feel free. Okay, great. So next, can we please have Colm Scully?
Thanks, Jim. I'm going to, with all the talk of vaccines and where they're made and the companies that make them, I said I'd read a poem about a pharmaceutical plant. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for 30 years up to recently. So this is a poem set in an abandoned pharmaceutical plant, or a just shut down pharmaceutical plant. It's called Ghost. Row upon row of pipework flexing muscle, tendons of the empty factory shell. Down cleanroom corridors in silence, arteries to the vessels at the heart. That's where the boys geared up for night shift. Beard masks and hard hats, acid suits and boots. That's where they charged the dark blue glass reactors, chill in the quiet evenings making cures. That was the admin block, the empty hallways, pictures in open offices of kids at home, the work, the sweat, the energy exuded, long since deserted desks piled high with books. The boardroom looks out over a tarnished tank farm, the cast down eyes of a collapsed Venetian blind. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Colm. Great poem. Okay, next, can we please have Michelle DeLay?
Thanks, Jim. Woman growing gorgeous. A sweetheart neckline sweeps a white love heart across her chest, redraws the one of blood and muscle inches away, rib-caged. Stained tulip blue to match, her dress in floral to match, her butterfly sleeves resting on her shoulder, perching. As long as the night lasts, her dress draws her constantly. Sweetened shade of lip skin colors in between the peach draws me to the love heart line that bows her lip. Work of art in a door frame, skeleton leaning, stretches, arch her arms, strike, and she smiles satisfied. New lines draw themselves towards her eyes. Thanks everyone, thanks for your poems.
Congrats again on winning the 5-word challenge, Michelle. Okay, next, can we please have Ada Miles?
Thanks. This one is about, I have a gas cooker at home or a stove or something, and it has like 5 handles, and every time I leave the kitchen, I check over and over and over that they're all turned out. And it's like a terrible thing, and of late it's got even worse in this lockdown. Many of the things have gotten a bit worse. So this is about that. 5 horizontal bastards, 5 left to right, and 5 right to left. No gas leaks. They're turned out. The stove is safe. I rest my case 5 times every 5 seconds. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ada. Next, can we have Emily Davis Fletcher, please?
thank you. Hi, everyone. I want to plug a workshop that I have coming up the end of February with the Pat Conroy Literary Center. So I'll put that in there. It's a workshop called Love Across the Pages. So it's all about writing poems of love and desire and loss and longing. And this poem actually has a lot of those. So, okay, so this poem is, oh, and there's 2 scholarships in that workshop as well. So I'll put that information in the chat. A whale made of felt. 1. In a sun-splashed room full of harpoons, we glide along with a crowd, gazing at rusted shanks and barbed mouths. Harpoons the length of my arms, legs, my torso, mounted on walls or under glass. A woman cuts in front of me to peer closer at the date on a plaque. 150 years ago, the intentionally soft iron, twisted by the will to survive. I lose you. Just when I feel I can't take another harpoon, I step into a champagne light that cups a life-size sperm whale floating off the floor, suspended by invisible cables. I hear a fizz when I get close, sense the heat of the orange sweater you carry. Where have you been? My blood keens to my fingertips, a song of longing for scars on the soft cream body that cannot be touched. The faint smile on the horizon of lips, as if near extinction never happened. A rope stops us from going under, where I most want to stand and look up, where sex and birth and shit happens. We could be crushed. We keep walking around the whale, talk about the early spring, pines erupting yellow pollen on our cars, your deflated quiche at lunch. On our 3rd lap, you confess you are a Boy Scout. I guess we won't be sneaking under any ropes. What do Boy Scouts sell? Ammunition, I guess. You laugh. The diamond glint of sea and the whale's side unzips as long as your laugh, as wide as your smile. We dive inside. 2. Cream sheets rise and dip in all directions. We roll into the belly. Twilight. The air shimmers with salt. The sea's pollen. Now I see your irises are actually sunflowers. We hold hands, run and roll into the belly again and again. Breathless, everything is felt. Everything we touch is of heat, moisture, pressure. When I speak, your lips move. We lie like a pair of lungs, releasing the intensity of a whisper. We can be any organ, so you pick the brain sometimes. Offer me algebra and long division. Eventually, I lean into you for the answer, and we play our favorite, the heart behind the heart, breathing and pulsing together, giving without asking, will this hurt? 3. Of course, fear is the first harpoon. You merely toss the words, I can't do this forever. I have a son and a patio to build. But they hit me hard in the back of the head, like lemons, the sharp way I start some sentences with, this is serious, to pretend I'm tough. Who brought in the X's? Both of us, the cutting head of memory. The night your parents fought over a gun, replaced gun with bottle, and mine never stopped. More and more I'm a spleen clinging to you, crying. The door ripped off my closet of sadness. Sometimes I don't realize what I take out. A photo of an alligator with a butcher knife in its head. Am I talking about myself? And you respond with a pigeon who swooped down on your table in Phoenix, a syringe through the neck. What are we saying? The cream sheets are more like concrete. Your smile, a canoe fading, paddling down your black driveway. Could we be the harpoons because we entered this not knowing? Not quite. The heart behind my heart thrashes. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
I hope you'll be in my workshop.
Oh,
and
yeah.
write your own love poems.
Okay, great. And you have that in the chat room, some links for that. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Okay, thanks, Emily. So next up, can we please have Massimo?
Hey,
Hey.
glad to be here. Last session, there was a woman who came last and did a poem about rain. I love the rain. So here's another poem about rain. With a rain dance, pray like a praise dance, romance with creation as we take hands. Take a glance at the beauty of these strange lands. Take a chance and take flight where this grace lands. As raindrops drop from a blue heaven, pools collecting where the skies view their true reflection, leaves wetting, extending for their roots to strengthen. Maybe soon will all bloom new and refreshing. A reminder of the cycle that this life is, as our aliveness revives when we're lifeless. We give light and get light as it lights us, because in the end, it's our love for our light that ignites us. Like somebody up there must like us, somebody up there who's just like us, who sees themselves in our beauty as it strikes us, as something outside us, inside us, excites us. So excited that I might bust, goosebumps as though moved by a slight gust. So high off life, feel a slight rush, and so in love with creation that I might blush. I see a tree and stand under the canopy. It draws me close and seems to lay its hands on me. Makes me grateful for this space that's been granted me. I'm proud to be born of the human family. I swim in glory in the nature laid before me, as though her elements are telling me her story, of her garden and the tenderness that bore me, of the magic in her passion that restores me. I see gray clouds as they're gazing down, draping over like a blanket where I'm safe and sound. I even see a sea of flowers as they lace the ground. It feels like I'm in heaven on earth, and it makes me proud. To think that I was made in this place is so profound. Can you believe that I came from this haven that I found? All right, thank y'all.
That was so nice, Massimo. Thank you. Next, can we please have Pam Campbell?
Okay. The title of my poem comes from a line in Lucille Clifton's poem, I'm Running into a New Year. Like a wind I catch in my hair. Mama's music chords singing, major and minor, augmented, heartstrings tuned to tone and touch, extended and diminished, suspended. Maymo's buttermilk, sweet onion tellings, oven warm socks, chasing cold winter mornings, mustard poultice, chasing congestion, whiskey laced hot tea, chasing tonsillitis. Daddy's gray blue eyes, dimpled cheek last sewing, the moon to cradle us. Leavings and comings, stories and songs, you sing lead, Daddy, I'll follow. Daddy Paul Stoken, famished cold furnace, shapes of words and letters, checker playing secrets. Before you move, think of the reply, keep your back row secure, move in tight groups in tandem. Baby Sarah's tiny fingers twining round cascading cold black hair, not yet silver white laced, gurgles and chuckles, deep and ancient, sing straight to my heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pam.
Well done, Pam.
Next up, can we please have Doc Janning, who seems to be from this 2001 Space Odyssey right now.
I'm in syzygy with the night side of Earth and the sun. Okay, I've two poems. Dawn. My heart rises, glowing from the tattered ash and pain of lost love. It rises from sadness into the hope and promise of a new love. It seeks the one who waits just beyond the dawn and flies on winged dreams into the arms of the future. And this is Winter Morn. Somewhere in time, she walks, as is her wont, sky-clad and barefoot, through a garden of new fallen snow. She revels in the chill at the dawn of a new day, just being herself, au naturel in nature, taking in wintry sights. Wrapped about her is a warm cloak of love, woven of her own love for nature and for others, and that of one who loves her. The coolness of the air raises goosebumps across her Rubenesque form as snow begins to fall, to melt on her smooth skin. With a smile and a steamy sigh, she returns to her cozy home and the love which waits to surround and enrobe her with its warm, weighted blanket. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Next up, can we please have Jackie?
Hi. This poem is actually about my grandmother who came from County Mayo and influenced me greatly and prompted my move here. She's long gone. And it's called Lolly Baby, which was our nickname for each other. Her polka dot dress whispers as she moves, walking quickly and firmly toward the church doors. The small and veiled hat is pinned perfectly upon her silver curls, her lips touched with a soft pink shade and a hidden smile. I kill for that tapestry purse she holds in the crook of her arm, shades of cream and blue and burgundy woven together and faded. She wore her pearls today with nothing but her wedding rings. I wonder, does she think of him every time she washes her hands? I stared. I know I shouldn't. She is so beautiful to me, with her stoic eyes that correct me without a word. Later, there will be cabbage, potatoes, and pork, and stories, and beer, and cake. And her laugh will fill my ears until I cry, until she does that trick with her bottom teeth. I'm just a ghost walking behind her, and she with me as time ushers by. And now I hold her lilac scarf, smiling her smile and eating red lifesavers. Tea with cream and sugar matches the breeze of her lavender soap. It took a year before I smelled it once again, and finally. Here now, looking sadly, solidly at Neffin by her old broken home, all the stories come to the front of my brain to tumble out of my mouth. To whom shall I tell them? Who wants to know about my Lolly Baby, our Bridget who ran from the farms of Mayo? I asked her once why she left. For pretty dresses, she said, which makes me think of polka dots and pearls. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jackie. Next up, can we please have Margaret O'Regan?
Thanks, Jim. This is called Empathy. empathy, to look outside oneself, to move outside oneself, to see society's monster as a human askew. A human I knew from day one anew, to watch, rejoice, celebrate, participate, all the steps of your life, through school and beyond, to look and not see, to know and not know, the demons inside you, the urges outside you, the demon possession, not sought, not chosen. That's it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Margaret. So next up, can we please have Kathy Ryan?
Yeah, hi. I'm going to read a poem called Love Story. I remember the stop in the desert, the shock of silence, before we knew where we were. I remember the yellow smell of the seals permeating the sky, miles before we saw them, roiling and honking in their thousands. I remember the men laughing at our Toyota Hyundai, trusty steed, before it took us to the border through rivers and ruts. I remember the lurch of jealousy I felt when you ran out the door to greet your son across the dusty compound, before I had time to pull my shirt on. I didn't see that you loved me as ferociously as the African sun burns the skeleton coast. After that trip, I left you. I remember the yellow plunge at the shock of separation. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks very much, Kathy. Next up, can we please have Dan Johnson?
Hey there, guys. Hi, Jim. Thanks very much. Shout out UCC crew. That was a really lovely reading from everyone. I'm going to read a poem I wrote that's kind of modeled after the James Wright, the American poet, his poem at William Duffy's Farm, that kind of has that crazy last line, I've wasted my life. But hopefully I kind of wanted to try and put a nicer spin on it, So, walking home from the Lutz's house in Ringwood, New Jersey. I leave you at the top of the hill in waning November light. Our neighborhood strikes up the song. Brown wrens, the knock-on of woodpeckers, engines of minivans and children at play. Late autumn coagulates in the heads of Bellot Road. The sunlight between the lattice work of tree branches I experience now again, newness and the anticipation of memory. To my right, the lake is taking down its borders, coldness in its waters, yet blazing even as evening comes on. A jet flies overhead somewhere in the future, and I know I live the best possible life. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks very much, Dan. Next up, can we please have Catherine Ronan?
Hi everyone, great evening. My poem is called Rain Party. I wrestle demons in the rain. They blind me with multicolored cloaks. Eyes fill with pools of tapestries. I drink from the rusty barrel, gathering rainwater at my grandmother's cottage. Crows glide home, soaking wet to naked roost. Angels have squirted my pens again. I must decipher the clouds once more. Poets open their mouths to drink, dance together at a rain party. Feet are always wet in Ireland. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Catherine. Next up, can we please have Sue Blue? Oh, you're on mute there, Sue.
Thanks very much. I'm still trying to decide between my two poems, but I guess I will. Okay, I'll go for this one because it's in two languages. It's a translation of a German poem that I wrote in. Yeah, I'm going to dare to celebrate my 7 years over and beyond brain surgery, and I'm going to dedicate this moment to that because this was an insight delivered to me through that experience. And so I'm going to start with the German version, and then I'm going to give you my very recent translation. So this was written in 2014. Einblick. An der Grenze zwischen Tag und Nacht, der Nahtstelle zwischen Welt und Geist, durchdringt sich mein Sein und verwebt sich mein Blut mit dem Fluss der Geschichte, formt Bilder zu Worten, geeint im Bewusstsein mit dem Feuer des Lebens, durch kosmische Adern strömend wie Glut. Mit dem Atem, dem Pulsen der Sterne, des Mondes, des Bluts und der Herzen, der Meere, der Zeit, im kleinsten der Wesen durch Fließen vereint. Und ich stehe verstaunt, bezaubert und sehe im Schauen hinaus auf den Lichtstrom des Alls und erkenne zutiefst, wir alle sind eins. Insight. At the border between day and night, the seam between world and mind, my existence pervades and my blood interweaves with history's flow. Forms visions to words in consciousness merged with the fire of life, like streaming a glow through cosmic veins, with the breathing and pulsing of the moon and stars, of bloods and our hearts, of oceans and time, with the smallest of beings in flow we unite. And I'm standing amazed, enchanted, and gaze outward with insight to the light stream of space, and profoundly realize we are all one. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Sue. So I just want to, well, we have a quick little break here. I want to wish a happy birthday to two different people. We've got Charles Clark, and we have also got Benjamin Burns. Who is Ben here? I'm not sure if he's here or not, but quick happy birthday to them. Okay. So next up, can we please have Cathal Holden?
Hey there, guys. How you doing? So happy birthday to Charles and Ben first. Good to see you guys. Be nice to catch you in person again. This is a new poem. It's called Fingerprints. It's for Ben and Charles. Happy birthday, dudes. Fingerprints float downstream on thoughtlessly plucked out leaves. They loop in and out of the eddies and ripples. They draw in the windows of buses. Fingerprints touch one another. Fingerprints peel off of bottles. They stick to the monkey bars at lunchtime. They jostle half joking in the lunch line. Fingerprints make change. They know the register. They could do it blindfold. Fingerprints have grown old. A handprint in pink paint on a plate in a cabinet helps her to take her tablets. Fingerprints flick to the program of matches. They come home late and they catch on the latches. There are fingerprints on the kettle, softness and metal. Hands draw hands and hands pluck petals. Fingerprints dip in the warm ink of soft skin. Fingerprints finger paint. Fingerprints sin. Fingerprints on a page, slow and deliberate. Fingerprints trace, stand and deliver it. Meaning is a maze. Fingerprints are literate. Fingerprints on a wrist count pulses. They catch falling feathers. They get licked and then lifted to weather. Fingerprints are sneaky. Stains on the TV, the mark of the artist darked on the back of the canvas. The white hand of Saruman slapped on the back of a black pair of caravans. Fingerprints catch like a breath in a diaphragm. Fingerprints understand us. They are hands, and hands are us. We are over our heads. Nothing is simple. Encircled by time like a drop by a ripple. Our days are outnumbered. Our palms filled with lines. We are surrounded. Come out with your hands in mine. Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much, Cathal. I just need to check here. I got a message. Pam, did I skip over you or did I get you there?
You skipped over me, but then you came back and got me. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hard to keep track. Thank you. Okay. Next up, can we please have Cedric?
That one doesn't have a title yet. I don't know if it would have one. I've had an idea for a few biblical names, but maybe I'll I'll pick one of them. Maybe I don't know. Humans at the top of a man-made peak of glass, iron, and concrete. An upward bridge beyond their nature. A massive flipped bird at the height even birds cannot reach. Humans at the top of a broken food chain, tainted with plastics, acids, smog. A cowardly attempt to escape their mistakes. A misguided pride still erect, long past its due, moon to noon. Humans at the top of their own species, opaque, torn, burnt dreams, still raising their hand beyond their perception to display the results of their passion, ignorance, pain, deceit, condescension. Humans at the top of the heads of the gods that breathe down to the rest of us. A fall none of us will enjoy, weightless until the bodies hit the ground. Maybe one day, reading in the spilled gold and blood, they will see the wisdom to be found. Humans at the top of their own hubris, of envy, wrath, and revenge, will run up those mountains, always until they look down and see that the fastest way to live was always to let go.
Great stuff. Thanks, Cedric. Next up, can we have Kieron Mccarten, please? Can't hear you yet, Kieron. Maybe we'll come back to you. Hang on now. Yeah, you're not on mute, but I don't know what way you have the sound at the moment. Maybe if you plug out headphones or plug some in, or might help. will we come back to? All right, okay. Could we please have Jerry Murphy?
You hear me?
Yeah, perfectly, yeah.
Oh, this is based on a longer essay by George Orwell, and it's about the 30s, and it's called The 30s. What a decade, a scenic railway ending in a gas chamber.
Thanks very much, Jerry.
It's a bit long, but there you go.
Yeah. Very good. Mary O'Connell, did you want to read? Okay. Haven't heard from Mary yet. We've a request here from GB. So GB, you can go straight ahead. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I'll be reading a poem titled Dead on the Inside, and I wrote this reflecting on a dark time in my life, but pretty much just to express what it is like when you're depressed and in that dark place. Dead on the inside, alive on the couch. The end was far, the lights were bright. The noise was silent, the curtains shut. It was the end, but it wasn't. I could feel, I could hear, I could see, I could talk, I could move. I cried, I laughed, I talked, I walked. I did everything, but did not. I had limped far too long, hoping with each step I'll touch the magical switch, longing all the way to open the door of change. But when it happened, it never did. The switch snapped, the door shut tighter, the knob shattered, and as I sunk into the couch, wailing with tears, I mourned, for I was gone. I was dead on the inside. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Augustina, I think I might have skipped over you there. Did you want to read as well?
Yeah, okay, I will.
Okay, perfect.
Is my audio better?
Yeah, much better.
Funny enough, I also wrote this about depression, but I think I found that I am more perceptive and would we say I find out more about myself when I'm my lowest, if that makes sense. So this was written during one of those moments. I need to be on the ground where I can sit or lie down and soak in the rain. To be alive and absorb and ground myself, connect with the earth and form roots in and from my limbs. That's my low, that's my void.
Thank you, Augustina. Kieron, did you want to try again? Okay. I think we might have you now, Kieron. I think I hear some feedback. No, sorry, no, we don't. Okay, we have feedback again now when you did that. Is it? No, I'm afraid not. I don't think the headphones are doing it. We have a suggestion to try just with audio, like maybe the video and audio together is too much. You could try that. Okay, and oh, I'm afraid we still can't hear you. Yeah, I think maybe you could put the poem into chat for us. I'm not sure now what else to suggest. Okay, we're going to have to skip it, Kieron. Sorry about this. I think actually that is everyone. Did Mary O'Connell want to read, or we didn't hear back? Oh, Mags, did you want to read? Oh, I've got to just unmute you there.
Yeah, I'll do something because I usually am writing it while we're trying to do our program. So I'm just going to do my thing on something I followed up with stanzas with Margaret O'Regan there. We were on during the summer, the night of the Equality Night for Black Lives Matter, and it's always a chancy thing to talk on this subject. But of course, Frederick Douglass is very topical, in the last 1 or 2 days. So I just kind of was thinking about his writings. And I said I just try to just remember him because he came to Cork, and he was quite the hit, and he really was transformative, and that's the way he felt it, and went to the UK as well. So he just kind of went on the run, and he came back, went from being, talking about abolition to becoming a general human rights advocate. So I just thought a chance. Don't blame me if anything sounds bad. I'm going to paraphrase all his own words, so as best I can. So I'm just trying to write it during tonight. Frederick, name of kings. Douglas, dove gloss, the dark and the green. You boarded a northbound train for your life of oratory and diplomacy. Saw more in 1 year than in all the darkness of your previous years. And in August 18th, 1845, your new life began when you were covered in the soft fog of Ireland. There you were to breathe and become a man. Gazed in vain to see anyone who did not see you as an equal. You befriended our great emancipator. You were seen here not as a man of colour, but as a man. And when I sip my frothy cappuccino in Cork's Imperial Hotel and have my airy fluffy pastries, I glance up at the plaque, and your name on that plaque carves it back in my heart, and you speak of social justice and you breathe again. So I'll just try to do the little bit of music. I breathe and lo, the chattel becomes a man. I gaze in wonder and amazement at that transition. Cordiality, hospitality, from the highest rank of society, an entire absence of prejudice against me. I breathe and lo, the chattel becomes a man. And wonder and amazement, behold my transition. Prompt and liberal manner that they offered me their aid to hear the cruel wrongdoings of my downtrodden countrymen portrayed. I breathe and lo, the chattel becomes a man. I wonder and amazement,
3,000 miles to be covered by the soft grey of fog of the emerald light. I live a new life on the other side of the ocean, absent of prejudice, an account of the color of my skin. I breathe and lo, the chattel becomes a man. In wonder and amazement, behold my transition. I breathe and lo, the chattel becomes a man. In wonder and amazement, behold my transition. Some know the value of education by having it, but I know the value of it by not having it. It's easier to build strong children than repair a broken man. And people might not always get what they work for, but they must certainly work for what they get. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. I must be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false and incur my own abhorrence. I breathe and lo, the chattel becomes a man. In wonder and amazement, behold my transition. I breathe and lo, the chattel becomes a man. In wonder and amazement, behold my transition. Behold my transition. That's enough improvising now. I got through all his quotes.
Thanks so much, Mags. Next up, could we have Sir Stanley Knott, please?
Can you hear me, Jim?
Can hear you perfectly.
A little bit excited there with the sir, but anyway.
Yeah, I knighted you. I decided.
Okay, well, who am I to tell you not to do that, my dear?
I am the queen.
You are the queen. Yeah, you are the queen. Okay, I'm going to do two really short ones. As Jim well knows, this month is LGBT month, and I've been working on a few kind of love poems over the last while, all really short, and they're written with song titles. As always, these are two by gay icons, one male, one female. I'll let you figure out who they are yourself if you want to do that. So the first one is called Ain't Nobody As Amazing. I believe a moment with you is a ray of sunshine, where fantastic, flawless love moves on white light, and patience, the final freedom, heals the pain of waiting for somebody amazing to love my soul free. That's the first one. And the second one goes like this. If you would just look my way, baby, my obsession would spark in your eyes, set promises spinning around heaven and earth. And under the influence of love, your finer feelings would surrender to some kind of bliss as two hearts get carried away on sweet celebration music that whistles. It's no secret you're the one, especially for you. So come into my world and cover me in kisses whenever you feel like it, baby. That's me, Jim.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Stan. Okay, next we're going to try Kieron again. He has a different laptop and has snuck in with another name. So we'll see if we're able to get some sound this time.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh my God, it's trippy. I'm also on this laptop over here. 2 seconds. So, thank you so much, everyone, for your words tonight. It's been really a pleasure to listen to you. This is called The Price of Keeping Up to Date on the Football, and it goes out to the BBC. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Yeah, so. To be honest, I'm a little bit unnerved at how up to date I am on the football. Your man would only be in the opening movements of his "I just scored a goal" face, and I'd know he'd have scored a goal. Without even watching the match, I just feel it. Get a tingle and look it up on the BBC. And what do you know? Your man playing for them got a goal. Then I'd wash my hands with bicarbonate of soda vigorously for allowing me finger keys BBC consecutively and full stop spell comma and enter. See, I mistakenly took a side spree to the news page and was not surprised to see not much has changed but the date. Listen, to hate is too nice a word, and hate isn't a very nice word at all. But you wouldn't know that for your penchant for making people feel small. God save me, Auntie Jean, and go fuck your racist queen. I'm not being mean. It's obscene, the scene seen and left unshared, with ears well prepared to hear a cozy cat in a tree adventure story in Torquay. Ready to care, wish they were there. Ha ha ha, what a laugh. While those Middle Eastern children with no family still haven't woken up from your Blair nightmare or the genocidal dose on your £5 note, but listen, at least you can vote. So don't get offended when we don't laugh at your jokes. Never knew you were hard-ended, grabbing kids by the throat. Some of you just did, though, just did fuck all, other than turn into smoke when the kids got tall. Thanks, yeah, I'd rather read the writing on the wall for my news than watch you perpetuate abuse. As the presenter of the News at 1 looks into his drink, says, you know the thing about champagne that really makes me think is how the strawberries float on top as the cocaine sinks. So don't be making a run at me, Mr. Squeaky Clean in his cabinet. Your establishment hype machine said HQ wasn't having it. Strange to still be seeing signs of life on planet propaganda. Can't quite quell the feeling that it's almost like you planned it. To get our back up like the feet of the fiend sent to report on the famine. Says something, doesn't it, that I'd have to specify which one. Earth drier than your mouth when auto prompt goes on the blink. It's been feeding lines since you've been Murder Inc. The forefather of the East India Company, a descendant from above, fine-tuned foreign policy. Thank you.
Powerful stuff. Thank you, Kieron. Okay. I think that is the end of the open mic, unless anyone else wants to jump in, but I think that is about everyone. Okay, no, I think that's everyone. So, look, that was a great night, really hit the spot. Want to thank again everyone who came tonight, and especially our guests from UCC. Can we have a big round of applause one more time for Peggy Mccarthy, Lauren O'Donovan, Roshin, Leggett, Bowen, David Galvin, and Cornelia Malak. And really fabulous night, great stuff. And if you guys want to stick around, we're going to head over to virtual mains and have some virtual pints. And yeah, so thanks everyone.